Alright, so doing a video with Mike, aka the Terminator, on stage, and we have a few things that we've been wanting to talk about. It's more of a rant.
It's more of a rant about
the industry and the coaches.
The industry, the coaches, what social media has done to the sport. Mainly what social media has allowed people to do to the sport by everyone becoming an online coach and not really having a clue of what they're doing, and they're scamming people out of money and feeding them lines of shit.
I couldn't tell you how many times Mike has sent me a screenshot of somebody who has shown what their diet looks like from a coach, and it's either like, Mike, she's eating 600 freaking calories a day, or dude, she or he is eating 3 times the amount of food that they should probably be eating based on how they're looking.
And what I hear though, and I'm sure you hear it as well, is the coaches, the clients will ask the coach, why am I doing this? And the coach's response is, trust me.
Oh.
I understand that, but if the coach can't give you an actual response other than trust me, they're a shitty coach.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't, absolutely not.
No. And I understand that some people don't care about what they're doing. Like when I was coaching you, you'd be like, dude, I don't care what you know, what you're doing, like, blah, blah, blah. But if you were to ask me, like, I can tell you exactly why we went from, I don't know, 3/4 of a cup to half a cup, or up whatever, you know.
Right.
So you should always ask your coach if you have questions, because that's just how it works.
Right. But if the coach can't answer, that's when it's a problem.
Absolutely.
And people, when you're picking your coaches, don't just use them because they're your buddies. I knew Raul for 5 years before I trusted him to do my nutrition. Wasn't that I disliked him or anything. I just wanted him. I wanted to know. I wanted to trust him.
And
he had to earn my trust.
It's a lot of work, man. Whether you have a crappy coach or a top line coach, it's a lot of work that the athlete is going to put in regardless.
Right.
So, but I'd much rather me find somebody who is going to be a good coach, who, when I'm putting the work, is going to be maximized in every aspect, versus I'll be doing freaking 2 hours of cardio and eating tilapia asparagus and look half as good as I could have looked.
Right.
You know?
I guess what aggravates me the most is people spend their hard-earned money to ultimately look the best they've ever looked in their life, and then they get 4 weeks out from the show and they're freaking out, and they realize that they're not where they need to be, and their coach can't tell them why they're not where they need to be. All their response is, trust me.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to these people.
You're just holding water.
Yeah, you're just holding water.
We'll cut the water a week out.
Trust the process. Well, that's great, but tell me why I'm trusting the process.
And there's a difference between holding water and holding fat. Just to be clear.
Difference.
That's another video. Just to be clear.
Different rant.
What do you think are some things that people should be on the lookout when picking a coach?
Look, social media runs the sport these days. So, I mean, if you're a good coach and a quality coach, in my opinion, scroll their page, go to their page, look at their clients, see, and click on the pictures. You can read the comments on them. You can get other people's feedbacks
and ask them.
Ask them,
hey, who have you worked with? Can you send me some pictures? Do you have a file? Blah blah blah. Like, it's okay to ask. Like, you're gonna be paying somebody your hard-earned money. Like, you want to know who you're giving your money to. So.
It's too easy to not get a decent coach out there, a great coach today. If you don't have a lot of money to spend, you can still get a great coach.
Once you inquire with a coach,
what's your process?
A big red flag to me, if I was looking for a coach, is if I say, Mike, can you coach me? And you're like, yeah, dude, it's gonna be $300 a month. I'm like, okay, cool, man. And then you're literally writing a diet for me. It's like, you don't even know, like, what my metabolism's like, what I'm supposed to be eating, what I'm allergic to. Like, you know, like, I don't know. Like, you need to find out about me a lot more before you just write a diet.
I would be willing to say a good majority of the online coaches that aren't worth a crap are people. You could look at 5 of their clients and look at their diets, and they're the same diet. And it never changes.
Dude, let me ask you, there's a common denominator here, and I'm gonna throw myself in there, shameless plug all the way. You work with top coaches, I mean real top. Henry Rambo.
I've worked with Honey, I've worked with Matt Porter.
Myself. Is there anything that you
notice?
Yep. Is there anything that you've noticed between the three, or that it's probably different from the get-go? Not once you've worked with us for a month or two or three, but from the very beginning.
You know, they're all different. You know, Hani was different than Matt. You were different than Matt, but y'all all have the same mindset of how you change. You all three can explain why you're doing what you're doing. I'm never one that asks questions. I'm smart enough to know what I'm doing. I just have too much other stuff going on in my life. I don't want to think about what I need to change.
Yeah.
I can be real with how I look, but I'd rather just say, Raul, what do I need to do this week? I don't want to have to think about it.
How long do you think you will have to work with a coach before you realize, dude, this is not a good idea, or it's just not a good?
I mean, if you're new to the sport, I think you should probably know within the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I think is a good time frame. If you're a seasoned individual in the sport and using a coach for the first time, I think you should know within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you should realistically know within the first conversation with them if they're knowledgeable or not.
Yeah.
And if they can't talk knowledgeably about you, then or the sport or the diet or being on stage, or hell, if they've never competed, how many times has the coach competed? Because if they've actually competed, they can sympathize with what you're really going through, and it'll give them more of a, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, it just gives them better experience of what you're dealing with as the show comes up. But, I mean, very specific. A girl I know sent me her diet 6 weeks ago. And her food, she is a bikini girl. And her diet was damn near as much food as I was eating getting ready for the USAs. And
she was still behind in terms of body fat.
And she's still behind in terms of body fat.
Yeah.
And her coach could just always say, trust the process.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Fuck the process at that point. Fuck your coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They suck. You know, not that she wasn't in shape, and not that the person doesn't know what they're doing.
And then go the other way. You have somebody who they have starving from 12 weeks out. They compete, and then they have a messed up metabolism for 6 months to a year. Because I have people that come to me after that, and I'm literally like, holy cow, like I need to work miracles with your freaking metabolism. And we do, but it takes time.
And I guess that kind of leads into the whole, there's a whole lot of, and just when you are researching a coach, I said look at the pictures, don't just look at the pictures. There's a lot of coaches out there today that know a whole lot about synthetics and very little about nutrition.
Yeah.
If you're going that route of using synthetics, make sure your coach is just as knowledgeable in nutrition and both, so you don't get screwed up.
And vice versa too.
Yes.
If you are an enhanced athlete and you're going to go to a coach that knows great about nutrition but nothing about synthetics, it may not be a good fit for you. I mean, just it's true. What are you going to do?
No, right. You know, I mean, have a coach that's knowledgeable, like Raul said, in both aspects of it. If you want to be a natural athlete, great. If you want to be an enhanced athlete, great. But don't let a coach, especially if you're new to the sport, and I'll say this hands down, if you're a female, do not let a coach shove enhancement drugs on you. If you want to do them, great, but do not let a coach
pay your dues with the gym and
dues
training.
And eat your food. And that's one thing that I can say Hani taught me more than anybody, was he made me realize how important food was.
And training.
And training.
Yeah.
And I mean, love Hani. I love Hani Rambo to death, and I know he probably does not remember me, but he cussed me out one night for about an hour and a half, and it lit a fire under my ass so much, and it changed the whole process of our training at that point.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it really let me know how important the food was. I mean, to be honest, before I ever trained with him, the biggest I would get taking synthetics was about 190 pounds. Before he ever let me touch him, I was 205 pounds stronger than I'd ever been.
Naturally,
and
naturally,
natural. I was 100% natural, not drinking caffeine, not doing anything. It was simply food.
If you can maximize your nutrition, nothing will fix that.
Nutrition
is 100%. It's not 80, it's not 70, it's not.
No.
It's 100%, and then everything else happens around it.
I tell everybody it's 100% nutrition, it's 100% gym. There ain't no halfway.
And to close up on the video, the one recommendation that I have is, because somebody looks good, that does not make and do great and maybe a pro or whatever, that does not make them a good coach or knowledgeable in nutrition. what they
Right.
did or what their coach did for them worked great for them, but that doesn't mean. I mean, these dudes come in shredded with veins, literally that you can trace the veins from the freaking toes to the forehead, and missing this part, I never saw anything in between. But you, but truth be told, I mean, he may not necessarily be a good coach, you know.
I would not. I will. Like Ross said, I've been fortunate enough to work with very good people, but I still will not coach anybody. I would never get anyone ready for a show. I won't do it. I don't feel like I have the. Am I capable? Absolutely. But I am not putting somebody else's well-being in my hands. I won't do it. I will not do it.
Anyways, guys, pick wisely and trust, but don't trust the process fully. You
Part
can only
two.
trust for so long.
Trust. Only trust for so long. Part 2 rant coming soon.